It's 6:40 p.m. The dishes are still in the sink. A text has been sitting unanswered for 3 hours. You're lying on top of the bed, fully dressed, phone in your hand, somehow too tired to move and too wired to rest. Nothing dramatic happened today. No crisis. No breakdown. From the outside, it just looks like you checked out. But inside, it doesn't feel like laziness at all. It feels like everything gained weight. Sending one email feels weirdly huge. Taking a shower feels like there are 6 steps hidden inside it. Even choosing what to eat can feel like standing in a grocery aisle with nothing left in your body. I know this because I've been there. Not once. Many times. And for a long time, I thought it meant something was wrong with me specifically. That other people didn't feel this way. That I was just broken in some quiet, invisible way. I wasn't. And if any of this is familiar, neither are you. You probably already know the advice. Get outside. Move your body. Stay positive. Build a routine. I'm not going to tell you that, because if it worked, you would have done it already. You're not lying here at 6:40 p.m. because you haven't heard the advice. You've heard it. It just doesn't reach wherever this thing actually lives. What I want to do instead is show you the mechanism underneath it. Because once I understood why this happens, not just that it happens, something shifted. Not immediately, not completely, but enough. That's what this is about. First, it helps to have a name for it. For a long time, I called it burnout, or depression, or just being bad at life. None of those names quite fit, because this state doesn't always look like what people picture when they hear those words. A more precise name is existential exhaustion. Not as a diagnosis, not as something permanent, just as a description of what's happening. Your system is draining from the inside, even when your day doesn't look dramatic from the outside. And here's the part that matters. Naming it helps. Not because a label fixes anything, but because when something finally has a name, it stops feeling like a character flaw and starts feeling like a pattern. And patterns can be understood. Patterns can change. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's doing exactly what it learned to do. There's a difference. So what's actually happening when basic life starts feeling this heavy? Your brain has been carrying more than you can see. Not the obvious things, the background things, the text you haven't answered, the tab you left open because you were going to come back to it, the low-grade question about money, health, work, your apartment, that weird email, the thing you should probably schedule, the groceries you need, the message you owe, the decision about dinner that somehow feels bigger than dinner. None of these sounds huge on its own. Together, they keep your mind slightly braced all day. Research suggests we make hundreds of small decisions every day, most of them invisible. Which route to take? Whether to answer now or later? What to eat? Which version of yourself to present in which context? That's a massive load on the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logical thinking, planning, and self-regulation. When that system gets overworked, decision fatigue kicks in. And decision fatigue doesn't always feel like hard thinking. Sometimes it feels like standing in the kitchen, staring at eggs and bread like they're asking you to take a personality test. Sometimes it feels like spending 20 minutes thinking about making a sandwich, then eating crackers over the sink because that required less deciding. That's why tiny tasks start feeling weirdly expensive. Not impossible in theory, just heavy in practice. And by the time you get to something small, picking what to eat, replying with a simple yes or no, it doesn't land on an empty surface. It lands on a crowded one. You're not lazy. You're a system that's been sorting, filtering, and keeping too many mental plates from hitting the floor all day. By 6:40 p.m., there's almost nothing left. And here's the part that most people miss. This is the part that changed something for me when I finally understood it. When this goes on long enough, the exhaustion stops feeling like effort. It starts feeling like nothing at all. There's a clinical word for that: anhedonia, a reduced ability to feel pleasure. And it can creep in here without automatically meaning something larger or more fixed. Think back to the things that used to reach you. A new show you were excited to watch. A song that hit at exactly the right moment. A message that made something in you lift. Now you look at all those things, and the reaction is basically nothing. Not pain exactly, not relief either, just a kind of blank. You put on a show, watch for 10 minutes, turn it off. Not because it's bad, because you don't have enough emotion left to keep going. You walk through the same grocery store, buy the same 3 things, come home, and the whole day feels like somebody turned the volume down on your life. From the outside, this can look embarrassingly small. Inside, it's a real escalation. Because now, it's not just hard to do things. It's getting hard to feel why they matter at all. And this is where something unexpected happens. Something that looks like laziness from the outside, but is almost the opposite. You start re-watching the same shows, scrolling the same apps, eating the same 3 things, avoiding new situations, pulling away from people you actually love. People around you see a lack of effort. What may actually be happening is that your nervous system is desperately searching for safety. When your system is overloaded, predictability feels like relief, not joy, not passion, just less demand. A rewatch matters because nothing in it can surprise you. You already know the tone, the faces, the next line before it lands. That familiarity lowers the cost, and when your brain has been carrying too much for too long, even tiny reductions in uncertainty can feel weirdly relieving, like sitting down while still wearing your shoes because taking them off is somehow one task too many. Social interaction gets hit by this hard. Even good people, safe people, funny people can start to feel expensive. Being with someone usually asks for a lot at once. You have to track what they said, respond in real time, read tone, make choices, manage your face, keep the whole thing moving. That is a lot of invisible work for a nervous system that is already over budget. So you leave the message there. You cancel plans with people you miss. You care deeply and still don't have enough left to perform being okay. And other people read the behavior at face value. They call it flaking, indifference, attitude. Sometimes you do too. But if the behavior is protection, not proof, that's a completely different problem. And here's the part that took me the longest to see. A lot of this can still look functional from the outside. You can still answer texts, show up on time, make the grocery run, laugh at the right part of the story, and even sound normal enough that nobody thinks to ask a second question. From the outside, it looks like coping. Inside, it can feel like your whole system is being held together with your last clean shirt and a cup of coffee you forgot to finish. Carl Jung called this the persona, the social face we wear to move through the world. The problem starts when that face keeps working after the rest of you is running on fumes. Then every "I'm fine" becomes a tiny performance. Every decent reply, every polite smile, every moment of seeming okay costs energy you do not actually have. And because the mask works, people misunderstand what they're seeing. They think if you made it through the call without sounding off, it can't be that bad. After a while, you start using their confusion against yourself. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe I'm just dramatic. Maybe if I were really struggling, it would look messier. But this kind of exhaustion often looks neat. That's what makes it dangerous. The outside stays presentable, while the inside gets quieter, flatter, harder to reach. Here's what I kept running into. I read about all of this. I understood it. I could explain decision fatigue, masking, nervous system overload. But at night, I was still doing the same thing. Still scrolling when I was tired. Still avoiding simple texts. Still acting more okay than I felt. The knowledge lived in my head. The pattern lived somewhere else entirely. That's the part nobody really talks about. The gap between understanding something and actually experiencing it differently. You can't think your way out of a pattern that lives in your nervous system. Information doesn't reach there. Something else does. Once I saw that gap as the actual problem, not proof that I was failing, I stopped trying to fix it with more understanding. And that changed what I reached for next. So what actually helps when you're already running on fumes? Not more tips, not a better morning routine, not push through. What helped me was subtraction, less pretending, less deciding, less fake rest that keeps your body busy while calling it recovery. The first thing was dropping the polished version of me when I didn't have the energy for it. I stopped turning every text into a performance. I let "can't do long today" be enough. I let quiet be quiet. That sounds almost too simple. But masking doesn't just use social energy. It uses body energy. You're not only having the interaction, you're managing yourself inside it. And that extra layer adds up fast when your system is already stretched. Every "I'm fine" that isn't true costs more than it looks like it does. The second thing was making my environment smaller before my day got away from me. Same breakfast, same few lunches, a default order at the coffee place. Fewer choices in the morning, on purpose. Boring, deliberately. Because a tired nervous system craves predictability. And when I stopped asking my already drained brain to make unnecessary decisions, I had more left for the ones that actually mattered. The third thing took me the longest to admit. Lying still is not the same thing as resting. You can be flat on the couch, barely moving, thumb dragging through TikTok or Reels, and your body looks off-duty while your brain is still getting hit with noise, novelty, faces, opinions, tiny decisions. Stay, skip, watch, compare, react. It feels easier than life, so it gets mistaken for recovery. But easier is not always restorative. Real rest usually has less coming in, not just less going out. A dimmer room, less sound, eyes closed. No performance, no choices. Even 15 quiet minutes without trying to improve myself. Boring at first. Then something actually shifted. My chest loosened a little. My thoughts slowed down. Not fixed, just less braced. That's what I mean when I say something shifted. Not gone, just looser. If this is where you are right now, I want to offer you one reframe before anything else. This state is not proof that you're lazy, weak, or failing at life. It means your system has less available energy, and life has to be scaled to match that reality for a while. That changes the standard. On low power, success might look embarrassingly small from the outside. You answered one text. You ate something real. You kept one appointment and canceled the rest. You got through the day without making it worse. That still counts. Honestly, sometimes that counts a lot. No tree blooms all year. For spring to come, the field has to go through months of cold, pulling inward, looking like there's no life at all on the surface. But deep underground, the roots are resting, recovering, storing nutrients. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are just in your winter. And winter is not permanent. But you have to still be here when it passes. So the next step is not to demand your full self back by tomorrow. It's smaller than that. Let today be measured by what your body can actually carry. If all you can do right now is live at 30%, that still gets to count as a life.